Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters and people everywhere. Welcome to episode 69 of Freshly Grounded. Today we are joined by Suleiman. He's actually with me on the intro.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Live in the flesh. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, very well. Guys, just before you listen to this episode, I want to let you guys know about something that's happening next month on the 30th of September. Me, Onali, Nasir, Ajmal, who you guys will know, and a bunch of other people will be jumping out of a plane, and maybe Suleiman. Maybe. Inshallah, we'll be skydiving to help raise money for children in Palestine to help fund their education, to help fund their uniforms, and a bunch of different stuff to do with education. So do check all that out. You can go and check out the information at gofundme.com/Faisal and Onali. That's FAISALAND. AONALI. And without further ado, man, today's episode with Suleiman, what did we discuss in this episode?
A lot, man. We discussed back to basics, just a bit of my journey.
Talk about your journey to Islam.
A bit of just the community, people from the masjid connecting with the brothers on the streets, and just really a bit of everything, really.
Yeah, man. We spoke about
a bit of number 7.
A bit of number 7. We spoke. Do you know what? We never discussed the root of number 7. But we did. So the other thing we spoke about is something that was powerful that hit me for sure. Is that we spoke about the concept of you coming to Islam at the peak of your success with your music.
Yeah.
And so that's a very interesting discussion, people, to listen to. We speak about how Suleiman was in the top 10 iTunes charts worldwide with his album.
Yeah.
And it was at that very moment when he had everything he could want in terms of success. Yeah. That was the very moment that he started coming back to Allah.
Alhamdulillah.
So it's an amazing episode, guys. Do enjoy, have a great listen, and without any further ado, this is episode 69. Let's get into it.
And welcome to Freshly Grounded, the brand new podcast by best friends Faisal and Sam.
Huh?
Welcome to Freshly Grounded.
After that bit.
The brand new podcast.
And after that bit?
By best friends Faisal and Sam.
Really?
Okay, and we have Solo in the building. Assalamu alaikum, Suleiman.
Assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How you doing?
Alhamdulillah, bro. To get in this episode was difficult, akhi, for so many reasons. First of all, obviously we're in Quba Masjid. This is the masjid. We'll go into it a bit because this is where you do your back to basics program and stuff.
Yep.
So first of all, it was getting all this equipment, and as you can see around you, it's not a little bit of equipment. So first of all, getting all this equipment out of the office and getting it in here, and then secondly, I've had a bit of a madness over the day, bro. I've been to almost every part of London you can imagine. No, not really.
You was in
I ended up in Tottenham, bro.
Yeah, I was shocked.
And that, alhamdulillah, that wasn't part of the plan, but it was for a good reason.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other reason it's been difficult to get this episode is because we tried to get an episode with you before. You were playing hard to get.
Nah, it wasn't even that. You had Nasir on anyway.
I had Nasir on.
But
do you know what?
You tried to do the number 7 dream team link up.
I tried doing the episode with both you and Nasir, but bro, shall I tell you what?
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, the way Allah plans things, it's amazing because we had Nasir, we were able to do a whole episode based on him and his discussions, and now we can do a whole one with you. And it's better that we're able to kind of separate it like that and kind of give you the full the ability to kind of talk to us and that kind of stuff. So Jazakallah khair for coming onto the podcast. And secondly, no problem, man. And secondly, I wanted to say, what did I want to say? Oh, we've only got an hour. SubhanAllah. Normally, we like to talk for ages, but we're in the masjid. It's 4 o'clock now, and Asr is at 5.
Yes.
So we'll know to stop because we'll hear the adhan.
Yeah.
So alhamdulillah, it's a nice way to stop. And I think this is a nice little set as well in the background.
Nice. You got the little Somali, Arabic style.
Yeah. We just used what we had, to be honest. Yusuf, could I ask you to do a favor, please, bro? You know, in the background, do you know the camera? Because I'm having to. So for those of you listening and watching, I'm having to produce. They know that the episodes where we're not in our studio, I'm having to produce it all at the same time. So I'm always a bit of a mess in these episodes because I'm trying to make sure the audio is recorded and the film is on. Can you just on the camera, if you come close to it, at the front, there's this little like zoom feature. Yeah. It's like a little lever, and you just pull the lever. So, yeah. So move it to the right a bit. I'll see it zooming in. Yeah, there you go. Keep going.
Ooh.
There we are. That's nice. Now you can see both of us, yeah? Alhamdulillah. All right. So Suleiman, because we have got no time, we're very short of time. I want to get started straight away. There's a lot of people who have requested this episode. So let's talk about firstly how we met.
Okay.
So that we can intro it properly and we can talk about a story. So, how did we meet? Oh,
It was
room 7.
It was room 7.
Yeah.
We stayed together for like 3 days, was
Yeah,
it?
alhamdulillah.
We stayed together. That's why I first got to. First things first, we was in the same class, but we didn't really know each other like that. We started brother together. We was both in the same class. We both. Obviously, I was worse than you. I couldn't even.
Nah, not
nothing.
even.
You know,
Because we all started in that. We all started in the foundation of winning.
Exactly.
We was all on the same level.
But I was more just trying to catch up with the work, so I didn't really know who was really in the class. But then we went for the retreat, and then that's when we was in a room together. Me, you, Onali, Nasir, and Liban.
Liban was in and out as well.
He was in and out. I can't really. He was like half of 7.
Yeah,
so we'll
yeah.
give him a little.
He's like a 3.5.
He's like a 3.5. So. That's where we met, and that's where we kind of, that's when I kind of got to know you properly. And alhamdulillah, man,
we kicked it off from the start, innit?
Yeah, we kicked it off from the start, mashallah. Even though you caught me slipping in the video, don't put it in here, yeah.
The Lost in the Woods.
The Lost in the Woods. Even though you caught me slipping there.
Why did I catch you slipping? What happened?
When I was sleeping.
Oh,
don't you remember I was in the class?
Yeah.
Basically, what happened, and now I've got time to speak about this. What happened was,
oh my days.
I was the night before I didn't sleep, and it was just like, it was one of them ones where I was just in a lesson and I just knocked out straight there.
You knocked out in the lesson act.
Yeah, I know. Halfway through the lesson, I just knocked out, and it was cold in there, man.
Yeah.
It was one of them classes, so it wasn't actually like a class. Because it was like a retreat kind of place, so they just had us in some little room. And
like a cabin.
Yeah, like a little cabin, and it was mad cold. And when it's cold,
that's you.
That's me.
That's you done.
I'm done from there. So,
alhamdulillah.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
But yeah, we met at this retreat. Alhamdulillah, we kicked it off, and then I was very. And then I think someone had told me your story, or you told me your story. Perhaps I can't remember exactly.
I don't think.
No,
I don't think.
Okay, maybe Nasir or someone, but I'd heard about your story generally on like a general basis. Oh, like this is where he's been practicing for like what is it, almost 2 years now?
Now it's almost this is my second Ramadan, the one that
okay,
just went, yeah.
Your second Ramadan practicing. Yeah. So they were telling me like his journey, and I was very intrigued, bro, because normally I'm the guy who's like the new one to practicing. You know what I mean? But as the years have gone on now, like it feels weird to say that I've been practicing for 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
MashaAllah.
man. Because even though I should have been practicing for obviously much longer, but before, obviously last year, I would say 3 years, the year before I'd say 2 years, so it always felt very fresh. Mm-hmm. But now I say 4 years, it almost feels like, okay, I've been trying to like be on this for so when I hear someone, it's been 2 years, I'm like, raw, like, so I was trying to be on for 2 years, and then, but there's like, and then, you've jumped, like, Allah, alhamdulillah, has like brought you closer to Him, and this and there, and that's the journey. You're always hearing new people saying, subhanallah, I started getting closer to Allah recently. It's so beautiful to hear. But then when people told me your journey, I was so intrigued, and I want to go into that in a second. But once I had heard your journey, the thing that intrigued me the most is that I felt like, and I told you this before, that you come across to me like, with your energy and your vibrance and your humor, but keeping it all halal, you come across to me as someone who is an amazing role model for the young Somali community. And obviously you'll say no, but it really does come across that way, because as we know, with all communities, the Pakistani community, all communities, the Bengali community, there's always issues specific to the community. Yeah. So I remember when I first started practicing and I met Abu Bakr Islam from Roadside to Islam. He said to me, bro, one piece of advice I can give you is stick to your lane. He said to me, I can't go now and give advice to young Pakistani guys and girls and say you're spending too much money on your weddings, because that's not where I'm from.
It's not his lane.
It's not his lane.
Yeah,
so he said, I can't do that. They're not gonna listen to me. But he said, likewise, to me, you can't now tell people who live the road life, step off the road life, because he said, that's not you. So he said, stay in your lane. He said, go and give advice to the Pakistani youth. And actually, that advice hit me, because I thought, that's all I know. I know when there's Pakistani guys like revving their engines on the street, trying to impress girls and all this kind of stuff, and trying to live a life that's not them. Because that was me. I was trying to live a life that wasn't me. I was pretending like I wasn't from a good family. Do you know what I mean?
All of us was, man.
But I only know that from Pakistani side. So when I met you, I was like, subhanAllah, this is the guy for the community in whatever small way you can do it, for the Somali community, for the Somali guys who, whatever issues you know that you have in the Somali community, because I don't know, but I also do see a lot of Somali brothers that are off it, and that you look at them and you think, oh wow, like if you only knew how amazing the deen would be for you.
Yeah.
And because you're from that, you're an amazing role model for those brothers. And but you are, because you're relatable. Because sometimes when you're at that level, you don't see this. You don't want to listen to a lecture, but you want to see someone who's relatable to you. And as much as you probably wouldn't like to admit it, or you'd like to admit it or not, that has had an impact, because there have been people who have seen your story and taken their shahada even. Do you know what I mean? So let's talk about that. Let's talk about your story. So obviously in a brief overview, because we want to be conscious of obviously not exposing ourselves.
Exactly.
Certain things, alhamdulillah, Allah has covered, and until Yawm al-Qiyamah, inshallah, they stay between us and Allah. But let's hear your story from overview. Where did you come from, and why is it that right now you're sitting in a white thobe talking to us in the masjid?
This is my attire. People that know, this is my attire. But first things first, I just want to keep it quiet. I don't want to be too long with it anyway. But so when I first started practicing, and people was telling me to come do interviews and do talks and all this kind of stuff, I was kind of like, I was thinking to myself, you know what, this is good, because it's gonna because right now the buzz is big, so a lot of people are listening to my music at this point, so it's good. So when I started doing talks here and going here and there, I felt like I was thrown in a hot chair. Does that make sense? And there were certain things that I'm saying because I haven't got knowledge, and in order for you to give da'wah, you have to have knowledge as well. Partly just knowledge and hikmah, innit? So I felt like I was just being thrown in a hot chair, and I was just speaking to people, and I wasn't enjoying the religion myself. Does that make sense? I wasn't enjoying the fruits of Islam myself. Like, I was going here, I was going there, speaking, and even some talks speaking about probably exposing my sins slightly, but I never knew. I never had no knowledge on it. But just saying like stuff like, just experience-wise and things that helped me. Talking in detail, like, you know what I mean? Of like, even though people did know, of course, I do music and this kind of stuff, but just, etc., you know what I mean? And then when it came to the bit where I said to myself, you know what, I love what I'm doing in terms of giving da'wah. I love it so much, but it's just that I need some time for myself in order for me to like just gain some knowledge and just to learn, because I didn't even know how to read. I never knew how to read. I didn't have no connection with the Quran. I didn't, like, not saying I got like a big connection now or something, but I never had no connection with the Quran. I never really knew who the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam was. Like in like a rough, you know what I mean? I never really knew. I knew, of course, but I didn't really know what I would say I know now. So I kind of thought to myself, I need to take some time off. So I kind of took a break from like giving da'wah, like video wise, and going to places and doing interviews and all this kind of stuff. So I'm more focused on street da'wah. So while I was gaining knowledge, everything, because I'm very good at just
talking to people,
conversating. Like, I want to say just like on the mic sometimes I'm a bit shy, like, but just like normally, because what I do is even because when we started Back to Basics, I was good because we had Yahya Rabi, and we had he mainly does the Back to Basics. He mainly does the lessons. But at the beginning, we had like guests that came in. So we had a lot of guests that come in, and we started bringing all the youths together, and they was liking it because it was kind of like they're coming to the masjid, but we're bringing people that they can relate to. Like we had Adnan from Hikmah Bookshop. We had him come through, and he's talking about life in jail, and then a lot of people came. And then we had like people like Imran, Dawman, he came. Then we had like Jabril and his brother that came. So it was good, innit? So, and then I was kind of like behind the scenes, but also just doing a lot of like street da'wah and just going on the streets and speaking to the brothers and just connecting like that. Because a lot of people, what they do is they try to connect with people on social media, but in real life they're not really doing nothing. They're not speaking to people, you know what I mean? You, alhamdulillah, I've seen you speak to people face to face. Like, I've seen you, like, the way you are on YouTube is the way you actually are real life.
You haven't seen me stressed.
Nah.
Ask Only and Sheikh Jamal today, bro. When we were driving from Tottenham, I was like, nah, I'm making Suleiman late. I'm stressed.
Nah, but just like, you know what I mean? Like, there's some people, they'll actually, and I'm scared to be like one of them guys, innit? Like, it's my fear, like, to be like a hypocrite or something, innit? Like, or to be a guy that just changes and just like and forgets about the community and forget about where I come from. Because I ain't gonna lie, bro, like, I had a lot of friends. Even though when I started practicing, a lot of them left. And a lot of them, it was like, I kind of thought, first I was kind of like, wow, like when I was doing music and all of this used to ring me every day used to ring me, what's going on, and message me, but as soon as I started practicing, not even a salam alaikum, how you doing, like, you know what I mean? A lot of them, majority of them was like that.
So let's before we go, because I really want to talk about back to basics and kind of the aftermath of you practicing, because I think that's such an amazing a part of the story for so many reasons I'm going to go into after. But let's talk about because what's amazing about your story is that when you started practicing, bro, you was at the peak. You was just about to go into like mainstream.
Yeah.
So that for most people, the point where even if they was thinking about Islam, they were like, not right now, because I'm about to go. In any second, I'm about to blow mainstream. So I want to go into that. So when you got to that point with the music, we're at now the point where you're getting picked up by a lot of mainstream like channels and avenues. You're getting to the point where
the labels and all this kind
the
of
labels
stuff.
are approaching you, getting not just thousands or tens of thousands of views, but you're hitting hundreds of thousands of views and downloads. At that point, what introduced you to Islam? Obviously, you was Muslim, you was born Muslim, but what introduced you to Islam at that point?
At that point, it was I felt like life was going too well.
Okay,
it was literally going too well in terms of I didn't have no worries like financially. I didn't have no worries where I lived or friends wise and anything. Like it was just at the point where I dropped. I don't know if this is exposed, but it's not actually. But I dropped my first album. It was in that album where it was like basically it was like, you know how normally people release music and then they have like a body of work and then they call it like a mixtape or something. But cause I was so like into producing and I used to like original and we used to make stuff ourselves. Like everything was in-house when I was doing
organic,
music. Everything was kind of in-house. So people was telling me like in the studio, they were like, all this music you've got, like it's actually like it's original. Like you can actually sell it. You get it? Like there's no point of you putting this out for free. So the first body of work that I done, I put it on iTunes. I just put it out on there. It was supposed to be like something. I just put it out, and it was not really something too serious. Like my first body of work. And then I remember I went to sleep. I woke up, and it was on the charts, like on the iTunes charts, innit? So and then people was ringing me, calling me like, "You're on the charts. You're on the charts. This, that. Oh, you're climbing up till I got to that day. I remember it was on that. It was I think it was like the 21st. It was the 21st of April. I think I can't remember the day. Alhamdulillah. Anyway, Anyway, when I released it, and then people was ringing me like, "You're top 10. Like you're on the top 10.
No
this,
way.
that. Of the album sales. And because I done the most sales that day. That's how iTunes works. Whoever sells the most that day, and it's worldwide, isn't it? So worldwide, I was literally top 10, and I was just like, wow. Then it kind of hit me like, and then I remember seeing something, and it said like, if Allah gives you, like, be scared. If Allah gives you everything in this world, like you might have everything in this world, you might not have a place in the hereafter.
Right.
So I remember seeing that, and I just ignored it, and I was kind of like, there's nothing really. Then long story short, my story, I think I've said it a lot of times.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. My sister just sent me a video one night. I was just literally just in my house. It was like a couple months before Ramadan, and I was thinking to myself, how am I going to get past Ramadan? Like in terms of, because I had so much videos and stuff that I was ready to drop, but I was thinking, don't drop it now. People are going to think you're shaitan because Ramadan is coming up, innit? So I thought, drop it after Ramadan, but I need to wait. How am I going to go past Ramadan?
How am I going to get through Ramadan? I've got 30 days to get through first.
That's what I thought. I need to get through that first and then drop what I'm doing. I went from that mind state, wallahi, to my sister, like, may Allah bless her, man. Like, both of my sisters are both practicing in it, wallahi, man. I love them so much, man. They literally, I couldn't thank, obviously, praise to Allah, alhamdulillah. But she sent me a video about music, idol talk, what it says. And I've always listened to the Quran, like when my mum's playing it and stuff, but I don't know what Allah's saying. Does that make sense? So I used to always think like the Quran is probably just, I didn't really know what was being said. So then when I heard the topic where there was the two sheikhs, Sheikh Mansour and
Sheikh Salimi, I think.
Yeah, Sheikh Mansour al-Salimi and what's the other one's name?
Oh, Sheikh Knife
was it? Yeah. Them two, so my sister sent me that video about music, this is that, And then it really touched me. I started crying.
Was this just before Ramadan?
Just before Ramadan.
Okay.
Imagine now, this is one of the times I was thinking, Ramadan's coming up. I actually started crying from the words of Allah. Like that. So it just shows you, like, there's some people, a death might change them. Something might happen. They might have an illness that might change them. With me, alhamdulillah, it was not something crazy where it was like someone died in my life, or I got into some sort of beef, or you know what I mean, or I got into some sort of, like, I got stabbed, shot, this, that. Or it was a thing where anything, but alhamdulillah, it was the Quran. Like, Allah writ for me that it was going to be the Quran that's going to change me. Like, you know what I mean? So it was a Surah Luqman, when those who use idle talk to mislead people from the path. And I felt like I was misleading so many people, because, like, even when I was going to places and I'm going with so many people that's in my area, so I'll be like, okay, I've got to go somewhere, like to a show or whatnot, and I'll go somewhere and it's like, the whole area is coming with me. Like, literally the whole area, from the oldest to the youngest. And then now I started thinking, after I heard the verse, I was like, those who use idle talk to mislead those from the path, like, I'm misleading so many of these people. Like, they could be, what if they died, like, while I'm going to these places, innit?
SubhanAllah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And then that really just made me, like, it got me really emotional. Then I said to myself, you know what, I need to make it to Ramadan. Alhamdulillah, I made it to Ramadan. When I made it to Ramadan, I felt like I wasn't benefiting at the beginning. So I done itikaf in the masjid in Quba. Came in.
Bro, that's so similar to my story. Yeah.
Is it?
When, like, as in my first Ramadan, in my first Ramadan practicing, I'd only been practicing like maybe a month, and I did itikaf. That's like you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wasn't really.
That itikaf changed my life.
It changed my whole life,
bro.
Look how Allah brought us together as well. Look at that. That's amazing. You know, I didn't even know that as well. Subhanallah. But so I remember I was coming up these stairs, and when I was in the masjid, I remember all, like, the uncles and that was kind of watching, like, thinking, because they know who I am, and they know me from the area and stuff. They thought, this guy's in the masjid, like, kind of looking, giving them looks, but I didn't care, innit? You know, some people that puts them off, but I didn't really care. But as soon as I remember me coming up the stairs, coming all the way to the top floor and the floor that we're at now, I came up the stairs. And then I see Yahya Rabi in the hallway as well, and he's just reciting. I knew him from the area, like, we used to see each other about, but we never knew each other on a personal, like, we never really knew each other, innit? So I remember him just reciting, walking around here, and I'm walking through, in my head the shaitan's still trying to, in my head the shaitan's still trying to, what are you doing here? Like, I'm having thoughts in my head saying, like, are you sure you want to sign up for itikaf? Because I felt like I wasn't benefiting during Ramadan. During the middle, because I was still around the same people, still like doing what I was doing. And then I signed up, alhamdulillah. I signed up the form, came here, done itikaf, learnt more about the religion. And then halfway through my itikaf is when I made the decision, like, when I said to myself, you know what, it's either I leave here and go back to music and go back to selling music and go back to that lifestyle, or I leave here and just give it all up for the sake of Allah. Like, give it all up. Then I said to myself, I had that thought, like, but if I leave here, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to survive financially? How am I going to, like, right now, I live by myself. Like, I'm going to have to move out of the house and probably go back.
Did you have your own place by then?
Yeah, I had my own place. So it was like, I have to go back to my mum's house for a bit. Like, Then I said to myself, you know what? Allah's the best of planners. I literally just threw my hands up and said, you know what? I'm going to just go with it. I made a video, just a little short video on my Instagram, like, Salaam alaikum, brothers and sisters. I said, delete my, I think I said something along the lines. I said, can you, whoever's got my videos, can you please delete it? This, that. Then I contacted all the people on YouTube, like Link Up TV and Graham Daily and that. Because I had like over 1 million views.
What did you say to them?
And the videos, yeah. So I said to them, I messaged them because I know them personally, innit?
Okay.
I know them personally, so I messaged all of them. I called them. I said, listen, can you delete my videos? And so many of them was like, why? Are you serious? Like, we have so many plans, like, after, like, because what I done is, before Ramadan, I said to everyone, like, all the people at my studio, all the people that's, like, doing videos with, I told them, like, listen, it's Ramadan, at the end of the day, I'm Muslim, I'm gone for a month. So that was my excuse.
Because people understand that as well. Yeah. Even when even like, I remember times where when you tell people it's Ramadan, they know. It's like a known thing. It's like, alright, it's Ramadan. Like, I'm gonna be good for a month, and it's just taking like, alright, cool.
Yeah, it's like cleansing
It's
yourself.
expected,
innit?
yeah.
Exactly.
Even when you're not practicing, do you know what I mean?
Your first itikaf, was it your best itikaf you ever done?
The best itikaf, I would never forget it, and it changed my. If I didn't do itikaf, okay, but bear in mind, that itikaf, I still had outward sins, since you could look at me and you could be like, oh, like, why is he in the masjid?
Yeah.
And I actually removed certain outward sins for itikaf with the intention of going back to it. Then it changed me, but I was still had a lot of, because I had just, in fact, I remember the brothers would as a joke, itikaf, I got close to it, they'd make fun of me because I had the shortest beard and that.
Okay.
Because obviously they didn't know my journey too much, but I told a few of them. But the best one was that same for you?
The best of the best. Literally, I've never had better. Like, Allah just sent me so many people. Like, from the older men that was coming to me, I had some real conversations with some guys like family men and all this kind of stuff. Because you know what I mean? Just like grown men, like experience wise. Because what can you learn from someone that's like younger than you or your age and like, you know what I mean? So it's the first time I kind of was like speaking to the older uncles and the Asian, Pakistani, the Somali, the Moroccans. Like, the first time I'm actually sitting down with them day to day, and I'm taking experiences from them, and I'm telling them my story, like, just quite shortly. And even one of them started like getting emotional.
Crying. That's what I'm with my itikaf.
I remember one guy, I'll never forget this guy in my life. He went home. I remember we prayed Tarawih together. He went home, and then he come back the next day. And then he was looking for me. Then he was like, I told him my story. Then he was giving me better advice, like, don't go back to your old friends. Bro. Stay firm at the beginning. Allah's gonna provide you with so many new friends. And alhamdulillah, I met people like you, like, you know what I mean?
You think that's mad? Listen to this. When my first itikaf, I didn't know what I was doing. I don't know. Well, I'd never been to this mosque before in my life. I go to the masjid now. All the brothers there are from like they took their shahada in prison, and they all like from all these different backgrounds. I'm like, Ross, so they telling me about their stories. I mean, this little like kid who like just the most beautiful little kid. He would come at Maghrib, stay till Fajr. He didn't do it because he was too young. But he would go get me chocolates and stuff from the shop. And I met one brother there. He used to lead at the masjid. He used to lead Tarawih sometimes or Fajr. And he was 17 years old at the time. He ended up becoming my best friend. I ended up marrying into his family.
Wow.
From that itikaf.
So can I ask, what made you do itikaf though?
So when I started practicing, my sister must have told. I was the first person in my family to take. I don't want to say take Islam seriously. Like,
started practicing.
I mean, alhamdulillah, my family, they pray and they are practicing. I'm not gonna say they're not practicing, but I'm saying I was probably the first person to make that like huge change. Okay. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's like raw, like, because we wouldn't like necessarily be like playing Quran in the house and this. Like no one had ever seen anyone in my family in a thobe. Now, like, me and my brother will walk out of the house in a thobe and be comfortable. You know what I mean? But not that a thobe is for like your Islamic view of thobe. But anyway, there's one person who we knew who was like that, who was like practicing like that, like lihya, proper like. And so he was in my sister's in-law family, yeah. So we were close to them, and so she had told him. And then when I come out back for summer holidays in uni, we all went out and he was there, innit? And so he said, "Oh, your sister's been telling me that why don't you come to itikaf with me?" I said, "No, I only just started. Like, I feel like I'm getting close to Allah and stuff. Yeah, but I don't even know how to read Quran. So how am I going to go do itikaf? Yeah. Like, what am I going to do there all day? And my fast is going to be even harder, even longer." He said, "Trust me, it's all shaitan. You'll be fine." Like, he said, "But your fast are even easier and quicker in itikaf." He was so true. So he convinced me in it, so I went. But he was the only person I knew. That was why. But your fast are even easier. Allah makes it easy for you.
It's true.
Right, so listen. So let's come in with the story. So you're in. So that's what makes you kind of come to Islam, and then we're at the point now where you decide, you know what, I'm going all in. I'm telling everyone, take my music off. I'm gonna start practicing. Okay, now this actually I think is a part of the story that a lot of people can relate to. I think people who have had that moment, because I think that everyone who's practicing has had that moment in their life where they've been tested by Allah, and inshallah they have passed the test, where Allah has got them to the point where it's now an ultimatum. You have to do something big and you have to make the decision now. And for you, it was, you either right now you have to say, that's it, I'm taking out all my music and I'm going into this. And I remember my moment that was like that. I remember I was like in my uni, I remember the moment clearly, that I could have, I had certain things, like physical objects and stuff, that I could have either decided to, like sell At least if I'm getting rid of it, if I've decided but I remember like actually destroying things, throwing things down the toilet, flashing them, and deciding that this could have been beneficial for me. But I had that moment just like you had that moment. So I think that everybody has that moment at some point in their life, and if they move to practicing. So I think it's interesting because a lot of people are probably listening to this right now and relating like, I remember when I had that moment. When I when I decided to, I don't know, quit that job, or I decided to leave that area or leave that sin, etc. But I think that even people who are maybe not necessarily practicing, who are listening right now, can also relate to you because they might be at that moment right now where they're trying to make that decision. I've got a big decision to make right now, but I don't know whether I should make it. And they're probably thinking just like you were at the time that, but I'm so close. I'm just at the brink. I'm about to be the most successful, or I'm about to get that promotion, or I'm about to sell 1 million or something like that. And so for the people who are at that moment, they could be listening to this right now, and through you they could be hearing that, you know what, throw it all away for the sake of Allah, because it will benefit you. And so for the people listening who are at that point where they're trying to make that decision, should I stick to what I'm doing for a bit longer, or should I just go all in for Allah? What would your advice be to them people?
My advice, number one, would be make that decision, because it's the best decision I've ever made in my life. Like literally, like when I say it doesn't just impact your life, it impacts all of your friends as well. You know what I mean? So there's certain things that happened in my life when I made that decision that I would have never thought Allah would ever open up doors. Like it's shocking. Like there's so many things that happen where it's like I think to myself, wow, like I would have never thought this would have happened. Like you get it? Like Allah opens up so many doors. It's like if you give up something for the sake of Allah, Allah would never ever leave you empty-handed. Like all that waswas, all of that waswas is from the shaitan, you know, him telling you, no, but you're gonna do this. No matter, even if it's something like a desire you're trying to stop, if it's like something big you're trying to stop, something small, whatever it is, if you give it up for the sake of Allah, it is worth it. It is way worth it. And it's gonna affect people, because you gotta remember, even if you're trying to give up something big, you gotta remember you are inspirational to so many other people. Like you're a role model, innit? So there's a lot of people, even if you're not known, if you're not a person that's known on social media, automatically you are a role model to your family, to your friends, people that are around you, your neighbors. If they see a change in you, that could be the change in them. So if they see you change, if they see you, the way you're acting, the way you've changed yourself, you've given up that, they can be thinking like, wow, I knew so and so, like when he was like this, and now he's like this.
And maybe he seems so much more at peace.
He seems way more at peace. Like you can ask anyone. I've always had that like kind of bubbly personality, but when I was doing in Jahiliyyah days, but I always was kind of like, you know, so hurt inside. No one knew how I was feeling inside. And the way I'm feeling now, I don't want to like. I don't want to get emotional. I don't want to get emotional on that. But it's like I would have never ever thought I would reach this kind of stage, like where I'm feeling this like wow, like I wake up feeling happy, like, you know what I mean, no matter what state I'm in, if something mad like falls upon me, I still feel happy, like alhamdulillah, like, you know what I mean, like every single way I feel good. So my advice, anyway, I don't want to go off topic, my advice to the people is make that choice. Like I literally speak to people every single day, like face to face, and on like on direct messages and stuff like that, and they tell me stuff, and when they make that choice, I have so many people telling me like, oh, I had this happen to me after my friend took his shahada, this happened for me, I got this really nice job, I stopped hanging around, now I'm here, like so many good, I've never heard of someone that gave up something for the sake of Allah and nothing worked out for them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says along the lines like, do you think you'll be left alone to say that you believe and you will not be tested? So don't think when you give up everything for the sake of Allah, don't sit there and think, okay,
I'm waiting for my money. I'm waiting
for that big drop to happen. Because at the beginning, you have to be patient. Allah will test you. You have to be patient. You got to remember, you're not used to, if you wasn't a person that was used to praying the salahs, you're a person, you're not used to waking up in the morning, praying fajr, going back to sleep, praying dhuhr. You're not used to this kind of stuff. But as soon as you literally strive, because Allah knows everything you're doing, like he knows the efforts that you're putting in. When he sees you putting in the efforts, the salah is going to be a comfort for you. Like it's going to be comfort to your soul, comfort to your eyes. Like now when I pray salah, I look forward to it. Before it was like, when is salah? What's this one for? You know what I mean? This is 3. Like Now it's like the salah is like I feel agitated if I'm late for salah. Like you get it, like. So the salah is going to be something nice to you. People, the way you're speaking, the religion, it fixes the way you speak. You won't be swearing. When you're around people, like right now, when I speak to my old friends that I see, because I always speak to them when I see them on road and stuff, the conversation sometimes I've realized a lot of them, they like to keep it kind of minimum, like Assalamu alaikum, you're right, alhamdulillah, how are you doing? Oh yeah, I'm going to come back to basics, yeah, like kind of keep it noble. But I realized the reason why they're trying to keep it small because they don't want to say something bad. You get it? It's because, you know, your heart, your soul, like it's used, like whatever you're used to, like it comes out from your tongue, and you know what I mean. So it's like they'll randomly be speaking to me, then they'll be like, effing or this, that, and you get in the middle of the convos, and I'll be like, you get it? Like, I'm shocked now, but before I used to say it myself, like that's how I used to speak normal. Like I'll speak like that, and so when it came to the point where it was like I started realizing like. The hadith al-mar'u ala dini khalili, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says you're upon the religion of your companions. Yeah, when I was around people that's practicing, I thought, rah, like they might not understand me. Like I'm a different type of guy. Like you get it? I like fun things and like, you know what I mean. I like exciting things, and sometimes I might say stuff out of the blue, start shouting and that. Like sometimes I get energetic, you know. Anyway, then I realized all of them are the same. Like everyone's the same in different. There's so many practicing brothers that I've met that's amazing people. Like. Now I know practicing brothers from north, east, south, west. Alhamdulillah, I went to Umrah. I met people from Canada, Toronto. Like even though I knew a few brothers from Toronto, I met practicing people from Toronto that I knew, that I know now.
At Umrah?
At Umrah.
But I met brothers from Toronto at Umrah as well.
And Medina as well, in the university. Suleiman, you know what I mean? A couple of the brothers. Suhaib, mashallah. I met a lot of them brothers there. So Allah's like literally made... now I've got so many friends that are practicing, alhamdulillah.
And I think the best thing is they're not just your friends, they're your brothers.
And they're my brothers. It's not even like, and all of us, like, we love each other for the sake of Allah. We don't love each other for this guy's got that. And before it was like, I'd have that mentality like, this guy's ringing me too much. Oh, what? Maybe he wants this or maybe he wants that from me. Do you get it? I used to be a bit confused, like, or not confused, but like, I used to have trust issues. Like, this guy, maybe is he my friend because like I do music? Like, is he my friend because like I do that and I got this and that? Like, I used to think like that, innit? But now it's like, you're my friend if you're just my friend, innit? Like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
But one of the best things about being being brothers for the sake of Allah and being friends on that level is that you look after me, but not only just for this dunya, but for the akhirah. So you might say to me, bro, like I, for example, if I'm your boy, bro, we just not like. I'll know that you've got Salah covered. Like if we're going out, I don't have to be like, oh, but where am I going to pray Salah when I'm with Suleiman? I know that Suleiman's going to be thinking, wow, we got to pray Salah. So like you're looking out for my akhirah there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like it's just noted that, all right, cool. So like we got to do this thing, but it's bang in the middle of Maghrib, so can we do it before? After, like you've already got that covered. I don't have to be like, yo, Suleiman, we're doing this thing, but is there any chance we can like figure out where we can do it somewhere where we don't have to pray Maghrib on the street?
Exactly. Okay,
so alhamdulillah. It was a nice overview of your story. We can, if the brothers and sisters want to read your or listen to your story properly, they can do online. I know your story is on YouTube on multiple different platforms. But earlier you spoke about how you were originally, when you started practicing, people were asking you to do a lot of talks, and you were going to different places and talking about your story, and you had to retract because you thought to yourself, wow, I'm talking to all of these people, but I don't really have knowledge, and so there's things that I might be falling into that I'm not even aware of.
Exactly.
Like as we, for example, as I'm learning, and my knowledge, I just told you, I've been practicing for 4 years, like, so I'm a baby, people probably listening to this thinking, wow, like, he must know nothing, and it's true, like our knowledge is very low, but as the more we learn, the more we realize that, raw, like, I used to do that, I didn't even realize that was even a thing in Islam.
Exactly.
And you learn that every day.
Exactly.
And then you think, wow, like, imagine how many people I spoke to, or thousands of people I spoke to, and I used to do that on a public platform. So you were speaking about that at the beginning, and one thing that is very noticeable with you when you meet you is that a lot of people, they practice and then they take it very they'll take it very slow, or they take it very fast at the beginning to the point where they have a crash. But Allahumma barak, what I can see with you is that like you clocked that raw, like for like 20 years of my life, or however long it was, I wasn't really gaining knowledge, and so you can see that you're trying to make up for it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you're in the masjid and you're going to Badr and you're learning your Quran and you're learning this and you know that, and you're trying to get that knowledge up so that you can eventually, when you do talk, that you can come equipped with as much knowledge as possible.
Exactly. So
And
evidence is
yeah, akhi, man. And so another thing that you mentioned obviously is death, akhi, and we don't know when we're gonna die. And if we
Exactly.
die and we don't really like, if we die tomorrow or today, and then next thing you know, you're being raised in Yom Qiyamah, and then Allah is like, "Did you read my book?" And then you're standing in front of Allah, and you're like, "Sorry, as in I didn't even read your book." And it's like, wow, like Allah sent down one thing that was from like that is Allah's words. That is like actually like the words of Allah. And it is one book, actually. What you spent 20 years on this life, actually. You didn't even read his book once, like not even once, actually. Like you didn't even read his book, get to know his book, understand his book. Like, I don't want to say memorize, but really understand the book. And it's
ponder
like,
over the verses.
man. So is obviously we don't know when we're gonna die, but at least if we're trying to understand the book, or if we're trying to read it and implement it as much as we can, then if we die today, at least we know that we were on the journey.
Exactly.
And we were trying.
Exactly.
So what I want to ask you, Akhi, is I want to speak a bit about Back to Basics. Because Back to Basics is a scheme that you put together. Am I right in saying that you put it together?
Me and I came up with a name.
Okay.
and I pitched the idea to the masjid. Alhamdulillah, me and a brother called Muhammad Daq, Idris, Yonis, couple of the mashallah.
So how did that start? So obviously you start practicing and you start, it was Quba, the local masjid that you started going to?
Quba was the local, because I done itikaf here, so it's like home.
So you got tight with the management and the people who run the masjid.
Yeah.
This is the masjid that we're in right now. Alhamdulillah, they're very, very lovely people. I actually spoke to them earlier in the week. I actually spoke to Ustad Yahya. I said, Ustad, listen, I want to do a freshly garnered with Suleiman. Do you think we can sort out a bit of space in Quba? He's like, of course.
Definitely.
So how did that start? So what did you think? Did you think we need to basically figure out a way to benefit the youth, or what did you think? And then how did you actually get started? Who did you speak to? And what is Back to Basics? So tell me everything about Back to Basics from start to finish.
Okay. Basically, Back to Basics is a program not just for the youth. It's basically we first made it for over 18s. Because we felt like the masjid was just doing programs. Because when I started practicing, I saw there was a program here in the masjid, and they was doing it for under 18s and like under 16s and stuff like that. And then I thought to myself, wait, when I wasn't practicing and I was when I was about and stuff like that, no one told me about, like, all this stuff that I knew, nobody told me, like. And I know so many guys that's on the streets that I grew up with, like, and I know that it's like they probably don't know the stuff that I didn't know of. Do you get it? So I was like, bro, like, we need to start something for the brothers, and we're running it, like, because they'll feel comfortable to come, like, do you get it? So what happened was, alhamdulillah, when I started practicing, one of my close friends, that he wasn't that wasn't practicing when we was both not practicing, he started practicing. Like, one of my close, he's in Egypt now.
Did he start coming to Back to Basics?
Nah, it was before that. He started practicing just before thing. I was like, I remember me and him, we went, like, a lot happened, didn't it? Yeah, a lot happened. And alhamdulillah, he started practicing, yeah. So when he started practicing, it was like even better because a lot of people relate to him just the way they used to relate with me. Like, do you get it? Yeah. Me and him, alhamdulillah, like, we was very close before we was practicing, and now we're even more closer. Do you get it? Yeah. And now, alhamdulillah, he's in Egypt. He's seeking knowledge. You know what I mean? So what happened was, me and him and another brother called Muhammad Daq, very nice brother, that he's from this masjid. He helped me a lot. Him and Yahya Rabi, actually, both of them helped me a lot when I started practicing, like telling me a lot of stuff and teaching me and stuff like that. So we went to the masjid and we told them, listen, we want to start a program for the brothers on the streets, because I don't know if you know, but like even places like Southall and Hayes and even like Shepherd's Bush, like mostly I'm talking about West London, yeah. If you walk around in the streets and you go outside chicken shops and that, like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, you'd see a bunch of guys just chilling there.
And they're Muslim.
And they're Muslims. Yeah. Like, some, obviously, like, majority, most of the time, like, don't want to say it, but like, most of the time in West London, it's Somali, innit? You get it? Because there's a lot of Somali here in like Southall, Hayes, West London, like Shepherd's Bush. Like, most of the time it's Somali, and no one's speaking to the brothers. You get it? Like, the brothers don't bite, the brothers, you know what I mean? No, but all the people that's practicing and that, like, majority of the time, like, they're focusing on themselves and, you know what I mean? They're like running towards khair, but not trying to really give da'wah to the brothers, like, you know what I mean? And I think there was no connection, I'd say, basically. I forget like the other areas. First, I wanted to start with Hayes. So with Hayes, there was no connection with the brothers that's in the masjid. And the good thing about Quba is there's a lot of youth that's in this masjid that practice. But then outside, there's a lot of youth that's exactly the same age as them, but they don't know each other.
Yeah.
So we said we got to connect them. Ala kulli hal, what we done was they gave us a day. They said, okay, we're going to give you Sunday. We're going to give you Sunday this time after Maghrib, I think it was. So then we started the program. I started promoting it online. Alhamdulillah, first day, I remember we had like 100 and something people come. But do you know how we done it? A day before Sunday, it was like Saturday, we went on the streets, yeah? Me and my friend Idris and a couple of other guys literally gave strong street da'wah. Like we went to the blocks, we went to like everywhere, like speaking to the brothers saying, come. And they were all excited, like, yeah, a program for us. Like, you get it?
Raw.
They were like, a program for us, yeah? Back to basics, yeah? Cool, I'm going to check it out.
Do you know what's so amazing about the name Back to Basics as well is like, I remember when I started practicing, bro, because I was 20, I was embarrassed the fact that I couldn't read Quran. So I was like, at 20 years old, even though I started practicing, I'm like, I'm going to have to teach myself Quran. How am I going to do that? Because I was like, there's no way I can go to turn to someone and say, yo, I can't read Quran. They'll be like, well, hold on a second. Born Muslim, 20 years old, Pakistani family, you can't read Quran. You know what I mean? So I was like, I can't do that. And so when you, a name like Back to Basics, that tells me like, okay, cool. I can go somewhere, everyone's over 18, so they're all my age, but is they going to be teaching the basics of Islam? Like, like how to make wudu properly. Like, that sounds like my kind of thing. And because there's going to be 50 other men there doing that, I'm not even going to be embarrassed.
Exactly.
So that's what's amazing about even just the name and the fact that he's over 18.
Yes. So it started with that, over 18s. So then we was teaching the brothers how to just pray the salahs, you get it? Simple. Because a lot of brothers, what happened was they was coming to the masjid and they'll be shy to say like, I don't know how to make wudu properly, like I forgot the order because it's been that long, do you get it? So it's like, and this kind of stuff we shouldn't be shy of, innit? Like one thing I'd like, and another advice I'd give is if you've started practicing and you've got questions, don't be shy to ask. Even if it's questions that you're thinking, nah, I don't want to ask, like, no way, I don't want to ask, I'm going to look stupid, like, don't be like one of the cures for arrogance, yeah, is asking, innit? Asking questions. Just ask questions. Me, the questions I used to ask was so funny. I used to ask like all these brothers in the masjid. I used to ask them everything that was on my mind, and they never ever looked at me in no funny way. They loved it. Like, you know, when the brothers practicing, they love helping. Like, you get it. Right now, if someone asks me something that I know and I've got knowledge of, I'm more than happy to tell them. But if you're on the streets and you tell someone like, yo, how much is them crepes? Well, you don't know.
Yeah.
Like, JD, I remember, like, you don't know the discount there, man. You're slow, man. You know what I mean? People like get like, that's just the example, innit? But
that's true, bro. It's true,
you know what I'm trying to say? So, but with brothers, it's like they want to help, yeah? So what happened was we went on the streets, brought the brothers here. The brothers was loving it. We had brothers that came through. We had visitors. We had a lot of stuff that was going on. And then what happened was, alhamdulillah,
people just started turning up.
People started practicing from there. Like that, I was my friends as well. Like, you know what I mean? We've got brothers that's in the masjid now, from Back to Basics. That, you know what I mean? And what happened was we started doing like football. So then guess what happened? The brothers that's in the masjids, yeah, and the brothers that was on the streets, they got to know each other. That was the good thing. So now when they're on the streets, these guys that's in the masjid, like all these guys that grew up in the masjid and stuff, now when they're on the streets and they see these guys, it's not like they look and they have to say salam to each other. Do you get it?
Yeah.
But before, it's like they could be smoking and whatnot and they see someone, they're like, I don't care, like, I don't know him. You get it? But now it's like, that's the sheikh. That's the teacher. That's that guy from the masjid. You get it?
Yeah.
Like now it's like there's that connection. You get it?
And did you start noticing, because originally you were saying it was for essentially the people around here, did you start getting brothers coming from different parts of London? Now
look, this is what happened now, yeah? With Back to Basics, alhamdulillah, it was going really, really, really well. So many people coming. With everything, you can even know this as well. Like, I'm sure that you've got business, right? So with your business, you know there's times where it's high and there's times where it's low. It's not different with that way even. You know, there's times where Back to Basics was like 100 people coming. There's times where like 20 people coming. Do you get it? Times were like 15, 20, and then times were like 50, then times was like 6, 7, 8 of us. Like, you get it? Like, there was times it was ups and downs because summertime happened, and you know, a lot of people don't want to come inside the masjid, so we was doing plans of like going out there. But then now, what I realized is so many people message us from Birmingham, north, south, east, west, because we focus so much on Hayes, and now it's like we've done a lot in Hayes, but it's like they kind of take the program for granted. If I kind of look at it, like, you get it. So if we start moving, I think they'll be like, yo, where you not going? You get it. So now we're planning on expanding, because so many people message us and they say, we haven't got a community like you guys, like in terms of like there's not none of this stuff that's going on. Please come to Birmingham, please come to Enfield, please come to Hackney, please come to Newham, please come to, you get it, like so many of these places, please come to Luton, Milton Keynes, like I can name it, so many places that they ask me and the people that are working with Back to Basics. And alhamdulillah, when we went to Birmingham, I remember we done a Birmingham and we went to Sheffield, was it, or Leicester? One of them, yeah. We went to one of them. And then we went to Birmingham. I remember I saw so many brothers on the streets as well. Like, and it was good. Like, they were salamed me. You get it? Like, they were like, you get it, it was happening. And it was just good. Like, the vibes was just good. Like, just going out there as well. Like, so Back to Basics, alhamdulillah, now it's just like, we're just trying to keep it forward and just keep consistent.
So what is it? Every Sunday?
Yeah.
Out at Quba Masjid?
Every Sunday at Quba Masjid. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock's the time now. Every Sunday at Quba Masjid. That's Back to Basics in a whole.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
So actually, you were talking about the Somali. You were saying like a lot of the times, outside the chicken shops and this, that, the other, you'll see Somali brothers.
Yeah.
And we were speaking earlier about how maybe you could be that bridge for the Somali youth, in like taking an interest in the deen. And it reminded me of something that one brother said to me recently. It was not recently, a few months back. It was an older brother. Maybe he's in his like 30s or something, married, kids. He's got a big lehya, like a proper big beard and that in it. But he's also, when you're in your 30s, you still relate. Like you're not like so old where you're like asking people like, what's an iPhone? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he said
still with it.
that one thing that he used to, because he's from this area and he sees a lot of Somali brothers on the streets, innit? And he'll see that maybe sometimes they're smoking, or he'll hear their conversation and in groups, and they're talking about this girl and they talk swearing, this, that, the other. And he said one thing I noticed about the Somali community is, he said that the brothers, but he's speaking specifically about brothers that he saw. He said is that the brothers in the Somali community have a very good foundation, and they've got good morals set. Even if they're like
100%.
upon a madness, their foundations are good. So he said what he does is he'll see like a group of Somali brothers, they're all talking about this kind of stuff, and they're a big group. When he comes at the masjid, he'll walk in between them, and he'll be like, "Assalamu alaikum, brothers," and he'll just carry on walking, but he'll just walk in between them, because it's like a little reminder, innit? And he said they're all of them, with the Somali brothers, because he said he does it with everyone, like the Bengali brothers, Pakistani brothers, whatever. But he said, you know, with the Somali brothers, straight away, wa alaikum salam, and then they carry on. But he was like, they always will like. They'll never be like, oh, look at this guy walking in the middle. Because they see a guy with big beard, this and the other, and he walks through them, and he's just like as if he's walking, he'll just be like, Assalamu alaikum, brothers, and carry on walking. But they'll always say wa alaikum salam to him. Like the fact that they have that in them to like respond to the salam, and they have that little bit, they have that like respect for the deen. Like they'll humiliate them, like they'll kind of like lower themselves for a second. And he said all it takes is that salam, like. That's what it takes. Like, like he said salam to us, and the way that word just humbled us all. Like we all of a sudden just was like, wa alaikum salam, and then we carried on. And he said that could be the best form of da'wah. And also, bro, that reminds me of I think is it a hadith where none of you will truly. I don't know if this is an actual hadith or if I'm getting it right. So maybe we can check after. But I don't know. Yusuf, are you sleeping? Yeah, our brother Yusuf is going to sleep. He would have been my fact checker. Oh, Ustad Yahya was just saying. But I believe there's a hadith that says along the lines of. Is that Ustad Yahya? No. Ustad Yahya? Can we ask you a quick question? Yeah, we are recording. But I'm trying to get this hadith. So there's something. Is it a hadith that says none of you will love, none of you feel true iman until you love each other. You love it for yourself, or you love for your brother, and none of you will feel true love until you. And something that will spread love is a salam, something like that. And then it says. Wait, can you give us it on mic so they can hear it? You're looking fresh, Ustad. Just come sit next to me and just say it on mic real quick, and then I'll let you go, inshallah. But it's that hadith that I really want, because it's important to this topic.
Not my turn to be on the podcast.
No, it's important.
But the hadith of the Messenger alayhi salatu salam, he says that لن تدخلوا الجنة حتى تؤمنوا. You won't enter paradise until you believe. ولن تؤمنوا حتى تحابوا. You won't believe until you love each other. ألا أدلكم على شيء إن فعلتموه تحاببتم أفشوا السلام بينكم. Shall I not tell you about something that if you do it, you love each other? Spread salam amongst you. So salam is a way of attaining love, the Muslims loving each other, and it's a sign of iman. And the other hadith is لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. None of you truly believes until he loves his brother what he loves for himself.
Oh, so I like remix two hadiths.
Two different hadiths.
Okay. No. Alhamdulillah, you clarified it. Jazakallah khair, Sheikh.
So that was that hit me, because I was like, right, like that salam is actually making two people like love each other more.
Yeah.
Two Muslims love each other more.
Yeah.
And so just by walking in between people that you know are Muslim and just saying salam could make the biggest difference.
Big. And like I said, like I was there myself. I was there myself chilling, you know what I mean? Chilling outside, like, you know, I was at a stage where I was outside chilling myself. So I know that there was a lot of people that used to just walk past and not even spread their salam. And I'm not gonna lie, there's times I used to think like, so you know, shaitan think like, wow, this guy, what, he thinks he's better than me, like, you get it, like that's you get arrogant, like, you get what I mean? And a lot of brothers, they kind of think like that, and a lot of brothers do kind of say to me like, yeah, man, like it's only you or a couple of guys, like a number of guys that come and they say salam to us, like the rest of your friends that's in the masjid and that, they don't spread their salams, you get it? And I'm like, don't look at it like that, man, you get it? And I tell them, don't look at it like that. Then when we started back to basics, they got to know them. Because it's like, I know the people that are practicing, they think to themselves like, they never ever think to themselves like looking down on anybody, this, that, like, you know what I mean? They look at everyone like the same, innit? Or even, they might even be better than them. That's how they look at it. So it was a thing where it was like, when they got to know each other, they found out like, wow, this guy's not actually like that. Like this practicing guy is actually just a normal guy. Like he's got no hate in his heart. He don't look down on anybody. Like, do you get it? And then that will make you more like interested in the religion. Wow, this guy's like that. Let me find out more about this. And then people was finding out more and more and learning more. And alhamdulillah, man, the brothers on the streets now, that's in Hayes, they've at least connected to the masjid. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No matter what they're doing, even though there's a lot of them, you know, they're in and out of here, but whatever they're doing outside on the streets and that, at least they've got the connection where they come to the masjid. Ramadan, they don't miss it. They're here all the time. Friday prayers, like they'll come back to basics. They'll come. Do you get it? At least they've got that kind of connection. And Allah's the turner of the hearts. You can only do so much.
It's true, akhi. Subhanallah. But I wish we had more time. But because of Asr, alhamdulillah, because of Asr, not like
alhamdulillah. Yeah. Alhamdulillah.
When we wanted to start this podcast a bit earlier, but alhamdulillah, there was issues on my side, and so forgive me.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, bro, do you know what? It's been amazing talking to you because I wanted to do this episode so much because even though I feel like we could have done this episode for 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Yeah, 100%. I don't even feel like I came prepared, man. Like,
you know what I mean? Bro,
I think I was just waffling.
The point, that's the point of it, bro. Yeah. But I feel like we could have gone on for 2.5 hours. Yeah. But the points that I wanted to cover in the podcast are exactly what we covered, alhamdulillah. I wanted to talk about your journey because I think it's so inspiring. Yeah. I wanted to talk about the Back to Basics program. And I wanted to talk about kind of the Somali community because like I said, bro, like you see a lot in the Somali community, like there's a lot of like amazing foundations, and also you see the Somali uncles, akhi, they're on it.
Nah, they're on it. The best.
Akhi,
the best.
Yeah, amazing, man. And the hospitality.
Even all my friends, you know, majority of my friends are the uncles, the Somali uncles are my friends. Like, my Somali's gone better now. Even when I have Somali uncle Tora. That means now I speak Somali like a bit good.
Even when I did my itikaf, it wasn't a Somali mosque, but for some reason when it comes to iftar time, the majority of people there were Somali. So we was like, I didn't even know that there was a sunnah to share a plate. So I'm sharing a plate with the Somali uncle that they're teaching me how to eat. And then I think my third itikaf was in Dar Salaam.
Yeah. Beautiful masjid.
And so there, we was eating Somali food every day. The brothers are teaching me the different techniques of how to eat with the hand, even though that's from the sunnah anyway. I was eating with a banana.
Stop it.
Remember in the retreat, we ate with a banana.
Was that your first time?
Wait, did I get that footage, Jackie? Maybe, Akhi was. But watching you eat, Akhi, was so fun. Me and only Akhi.
Oh no, you never got it footage.
Nah.
I remember you guys. I was eating the food. I was loving the Somali food in the retreat. I looked in the corner. I see you lot die.
We was dying because Akhi, Allah Barak, you got skills with your hands, you know. The way you eat with your hands, Akhi, is different.
Zoom into this bit.
Akhi, Allah Barak, Akhi, man. But
yeah, alhamdulillah. Thanks for having me, man.
Nah,
Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me.
inshallah, now you've done it once. Would you be willing to jump on again sometime?
Definitely. Yeah, I would. And more, we'll go to the office next time.
Inshallah.
Probably even if you want to have like a number 7 link up.
Akhi, now we can do it.
Room number 7 link
now we
up.
don't. Now,
Me,
do you know what?
Onali, Nasir.
I've done a podcast episode by myself.
Yeah.
You've done a podcast episode by yourself with me now.
Yeah.
Nasir's done one by himself with me. And Onali's done one by himself with me. So it only makes sense that room 7.
I'm calling out room number 7.
Okay, I've got another question for you before we go. On the 30th of July,
Yeah.
me and Onali and Nasir, we're going to be jumping out of a plane.
Wow.
To help raise money for children in education.
Jumping out the plane.
Yeah, we're going to
skydiving.
It's skydiving, akhi, to help children in Palestine fund their education. Akhi. So what I'm saying is, there's a room 7 link up in the air, Ak.
Oh, you want me to go?
I'm saying
in the air.
I'm saying think about it.
Yeah, room number 7 don't have 9 lives. That's what I'm trying to say. But I'm gonna think about it. I don't want to make the decision now.
No, I'm gonna think about it.
Live and
Yeah.
I don't want people to start commenting.
I'm gonna think about it. Yo, I think people should comment if they want to see Suleiman. If they want to see a room 7
you guys
link
want
up.
to see me skydiving, flapping my wings.
Comment below.
Comment below, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair, bro. Inshallah, brothers and sisters, this was episode 69 of Freshly Grounded. He was Suleiman. I was Faisal. We're out.